Hey, it's Lee. Welcome to Business Problem Solved. Today, this is the 100th episode. This is well exciting. So firstly, thank you very much if you've listened to any of the previous 99 episodes. When I started the podcast, I thought I would run out of ideas, but who knows? Who'd have thought, actually? I'd still be going at this time. And to celebrate and mark the 100th episode, I put a post out on LinkedIn asking people for their ideas and thoughts about what I could do. The number one response was that I should be interviewed. So I then went back and asked people who could and should be that person to interview me. So a number of people raised their hand and said that they would love to do it. So I've invited them all. So this might be, well, this actually is the longest episode that I've ever put out there, but it's because I wanted to get the questions that people wanted to ask me. Yes, there are some duplicated questions, but what I also think that this really shows, because I was going to edit the duplicated questions out, but my answers are slightly different, dependent upon whether I've answered the question before. This made me think about a concept called saying that you can't walk through the same stream twice. So in your mind, there's the stream of consciousness. There's an argument to say that you can never walk through the same stream because you've thought about that thing before and then answered it. So this is what I think has happened to me a few times. So you might hear a question and I'll answer it, and then you might hear the similar question and I'll answer it, and I might give a slightly different take on it, but that's because I've answered it previously and my thought process has developed further, or it sparked another seed or something I wanted to pull on as well. So I've not edited any of this. This is as it is. All of the people, all of the questions. It starts with my dad. It finishes with the kids, and it's got some amazing other people in the centre. So enjoy it, and I'd love to know your thoughts.
Right, excitingly, first up today. When I say excitingly, first up today is I guess the person that I have got to either thank or blame for a lot of different things. It's my father. Hello there, Dad. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Lee. And you?
Yeah, really well. So yes, I'm all right. So the thing with all of the people that I've asked to speak to and ask questions and stuff who've asked, I've said I don't want to see the questions, and I think these are the questions that I might be more nervous about.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So shall we start?
Well, yeah, but first of all, thank you for inviting me onto your 100th podcast.
Have you been rehearsing your speech?
Why? Because I didn't fluff the words.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, good. Right, first question. What made you choose the profession that you've gone into?
What did I choose or was I chosen? So was it a calling? So I guess what made me choose the profession is I was chosen for it initially back in 2006. Chosen for it initially when I was working in HMRC, and my manager at the time, Carl, he said there's this improvement thing that we think you'd be really good at. So you will if you're up for it, we'll put you forward for it. So I didn't choose it. I was chosen for it, and then I fell in love with it and really enjoyed it because it floats my boat around working with people, getting improvements and stuff like that. But then in terms of leaving HMRC, I always remember a conversation that you had with me around you've never worked a day in your life working in the public sector. Yeah. So then I thought, well, I'm going to have to, I'll see whether I can do it from moving from public to private sector and stuff like that. And I could and can. So it wasn't a choosing. I was chosen, but then I chose to do it everywhere else because I love it. That's it. That's the only reason.
Good. Well, the second question is, what would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
Oh, so I think you probably know that question. So up until the age of 30, mid-30s, I was DJing. And I got to a point where I was DJing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bouncy castles out on a Saturday and a Sunday, but still working 5 days a week. So I had that choice at a point in time where if I hadn't fallen in love with the job that I do, I had to decide, because I was earning similar money doing both of them. And I think that's the reason why I don't have the same head of hair as you, although you cover your bald bit quite well.
Thanks.
So I think because I had that decision moment of going, okay, you're earning similar money, but it's not sustainable. If I wasn't doing this, I would have chosen that. So I would have gone into I would have made a go at the DJing stuff and the party stuff and the entertainment stuff. So I think that's what I would have done, because again, it was about like working with people, and seeing them smile and stuff. So that's what I would have done, I think.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
Good. And just as a side point for that, with what's happened this 2020 with COVID, you'd have been totally stuck if you'd have gone down the entertainment side, wouldn't you?
People still need to have a laugh, though, don't they? So I think it's about being creative, though, isn't it? So I think there's opportunities in it, both things. I think it's just about thinking creative. But yes, you wouldn't have been able to DJ at parties or DJ in pubs and all of that stuff. But well, just like you did, you DJ'd on your street, didn't you?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of. It's just about thinking creatively to overcome that challenge. But
I was going to say thinking outside the box, but you're not allowed to say that anymore, are you?
I don't know, you know.
No, apparently it's blue sky thinking.
Oh, is it?
That's what they said. That's what they said.
Okay.
Would you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Where do I see myself in 5 years' time? So I see 5 years' time, still doing what I'm doing, but Get Knowledge would have grown, because we would be or will be successful in what we do. So we would have grown, the team would have grown, offerings would have grown, number of clients would have grown. So I might be sat on a different couch. I might be sat in a different house. But I think still doing what I do, supporting people online and supporting people physically in businesses to help them improve, or reduce the costs whilst engaging the people and delighting the customers. So I think still doing the same job, but just with more people supporting the vision that myself and Jason have got to grow.
Very good. Very
Thanks.
good. One final question, because I know you said I could do 3, but I'm pulling the father card.
Oh wow!
I'm putting a 4th question in.
Well, I can't say no now. You've just said that, can I? We're recording.
We can always re-record.
No. Go for it.
Yeah. Other than me, which other person would you most like to interview and why?
Other than you. Oh, who would I most like to interview and why? Dead or alive?
Either.
Well, the answers that they get back would be if they've got to be alive, haven't they? But okay, let me have a think about this. So, all right, okay. So I thought you were going to ask then, other than me, who's been your biggest inspiration? But you didn't ask that.
No, I didn't.
No, because that would have been the answer. Would have been you for a few reasons. They're getting me into DJing, challenging me about the public sector, private sector. The reading of the books and the showing of the success books, the master key, and all of those things would have been. But I've answered a different question. Who would Jurgen Klopp?
Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, purely because I think he embodies a natural leader. He's engaging in what he does. He's a fun guy. How Liverpool So I'm slightly biased, and so how Liverpool have identified players that might not have been achieving their potential at other clubs, brought them together, created a team, and then dominated world football. So as a Man United fan as you are, do you like that answer?
Well, it was all right. It was all right. You know, once in 30 years you won the thing. So you joined Leicester and you joined Blackburn.
Okay. Thank you. We'll talk more over later. But yeah, so yeah, Jurgen Klopp, for those reasons that I said, because of just the way that he leads a team, brought a team together. Because I think there's a lot of lessons that can be gleaned from that. They can help everybody about engaging people, creating a vision, and moving forward collectively. So
Yes, he seems to have fun doing what he's doing as well.
Which is important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is important.
It is.
Rightio. So that wasn't as painful. That's all the questions, isn't it?
That's all the questions, unless you want me to think of some more.
No. Maybe for episode 200, you can think of that. So you've got another 2 years to think of those. But no, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for inspiring me, and have an enjoyable rest of your day, Father.
And the same to you. Thank you, Lee, and all the success in the future.
Oh. Hey, next up is Garry Gormley of Fab Solutions. How are you, Garry?
I'm very well, thank you, Lee. Hope you're well.
Yeah, really good. Firstly, thanks very much for doing this, and thanks very much for dialing in from your basement as well. It's very dark where you are.
This is the Fab Solutions dungeon. This is when I've been bad. They put me down in here.
Oh wow! Well, we'll ask no more. Okay, so thank you for agreeing to do this. You've got a couple of questions. Shall we see what they are?
So I went deep with my questions, Lee, because I know you're quite a reflective and you wear your heart on your sleeve. So my questions were: let's go for the first one.
Yeah.
And you know I'm all about mindset and kind of grit and kind of making sure that you're using your resilience to fuel your future successes. So my first question was:
you're building this one up, aren't you?
No, it's a good question. It's a good question.
Right, okay.
So first question is: what failure has enriched your success the most?
Oh wow. Great question, Garry. Oh,
you know what? As you say that, I've just got a wave of light cast over me. It's like,
yeah. So I think there's a couple here. So there was I was in a really senior position in an organisation, and I had a conversation with them about their beliefs and my beliefs were not necessarily aligned, and that maybe I might not be the right fit for their culture going forward. Obviously, they didn't want dynamic change, and so we agreed to part ways.
wow.
Yeah, so that was. So I think that because it wasn't my doing, it was them that led the conversation. So I think that one is probably seen as a failure, because it wasn't my instigation to leave. It was their choice, and then we had that conversation.
Yeah.
But that for me was the opening the door for me to go, well, sod this. I've slogged my guts out there. I've given them everything. I worked 24/7, emails all the time, and I thought I was like part of them, and they were part of me. I thought my blood ran the same colour as that organisation, and I think that really that showed me that actually you are just a number. You might give everything to an organisation, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's you've got to do things for yourself and put yourself first, and really consider what it is you want and what makes you happy. So I think from leaving then, from leaving there, the trajectory of my life. I'm not going to use work. I was going to use the word career then, but I think the trajectory of my life has gone like that. Because now self-employed, got my own business and stuff with Jason, get knowledge and doing all of these amazing things online and getting me to network with people like yourself, Garry, and everybody else.
It's been a pleasure. It's
yeah,
been mutually beneficial.
And I think because I would never have done that. I would never have done that. So I love people, and what I realised is when I was in that organisation, that the only people I knew were the other people in that organisation. And I think on leaving that, the world is a big bloody place.
Yeah.
So that's opened my eyes to that as well. So I think it could be classed as a failure, but I and because it wasn't my choosing. But coming out of it, my eyes are so wide now, and there's so much. The world's a big place. I think when you're in an organisation, you're looking so inwards.
You become a bit institutionalised, don't you? And it's not a nice place to be.
No, completely. So on leaving there, my eyes are wide open. The world is a massive place, and you can influence it all rather than just a tiny organisation. But in their eyes, they're a big organisation. Yeah. So
you know what, and it is a brilliant feeling as well, because actually you're the catalyst for change for others. And I think I certainly being my own boss now, I realise that in that I can scope what I want to do, who I want to work with, how I want to work with them, and I can affect change on organisations as a result of the way I work, rather than being dumbed down to somebody else's 3-year plan, somebody else's vision and trajectory. So yeah, I totally relate to that.
Yeah, completely.
So good answer.
Are the other two questions easier?
Well, it depends what you consider to be easy, I suppose.
Right, go with it.
They're easy for me to ask them, but so I know you're only about 21, 22, Lee, so you've not had much life experience.
Smooth.
But if I was going to ask you, what one piece of advice would your older self give to your younger self? What would that nugget be? Now, I know it's hard because you've only had a few years work experience, because you're not that, but what would that be?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is a really good question. And every day when my 2 kids go to school, or every opportunity I get with them, I always say to them, be happy, be yourself. In fact, I sing it to them. I'll sing it to you. I go, be happy, be yourself, and always do your best, right? So I sing that to them every single day.
Sounds like something off CBeebies or something.
It does. So, but what it's done now is when I start singing it, the kids start singing it back to me. So be happy, be yourself, and always do your best. So I think it's easy for me to say it to them too, but it's not easy for me to act out and to live that. So I would hope that my 10-year-older self is still singing that song, but it's internalized in me as well. So I'm happy, I'm always myself, and I'm always doing my best. Because I think with those 3 things, irrelevant of your direction, what you're doing, it applies to home life, it applies to work life. So I would encourage. Yeah, I'd love my 31-year-old self I wish I could remember being 31. I would love my 31-year-old self to tell me to be happy, be myself, and always do my best, because I want. I can't not sing it now.
I can't wait for the second verse.
Yeah. So that's the advice. I think it's really easy to say, but not really easy to do in all situations.
Yeah, eat your own dog food, as they say.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Be happy, be yourself, and always do your best.
Yeah.
I'm going to be singing that all day now. Thank you very much. That's in my head. So my final question, if I'm allowed a third.
Yeah, go for it.
And this is to kind of end on a nice positive crescendo, is what would you say has been the biggest highlight of your, I would say career, but we didn't talk necessarily career earlier. So what's the biggest highlight of life in Lee Houghton so far?
So I mean, the obvious and easy answer is the 2 kids. But if we take those out of the equation, the highlight of my life/career so far, would have to be starting the business. And not starting the business. Receiving the first check into the business account that I'd contributed to. So it's a partnership, me and Jason. And I think so Jason started earning the money before me. And I think me contributing to that and continuing to contribute to that, I think is the highlight, because it kind of validates that you are good enough. You can do it. And in fact, I'm just launching an online group coaching program now. That's my own little brainchild, and it's going to be delivered over 8 weeks. And to get people to say part with their own money and to validate it. And so this is something I've created. It's something I've sold, and some other people are saying, yes, we want that. Yes, we need that. I think that there's no better feeling than that. No better feeling than that.
I wish I'd have framed my first invoice, to be fair, because it was a miracle moment that somebody's prepared to pay for the services that I offer in the Fab Solutions new way of working. It's like, that's nice.
Yeah, no, I love that as well. And just reflecting on that question as well. So it's like when you're at school, and like if you played football or you did a sport, whatever, and you'd score a goal, you'd get a feeling inside. And then I DJ'd between the ages of professionally between the ages of 18 and about 34 or something like that. 21. Sorry, 18 and 21. I only did it 3 years. And then when I would play a track and I would get a full dance floor and people singing and jumping up and down, that feeling, I would get that inside, and it'd be like, bloody hell, you've influenced that. You've made people feel amazing. Not your music, but you've chosen to play that song at that time and got that reaction. And then now doing what I do, and helping and enabling people to, and those penny drop moments of people going, bloody hell, I can change, or it is. I've got it's in my control, or just getting feedback from people that the leaders are empowering and enabling them to do things. That's when I get that feeling again, and I got that feeling when people started buying the course. I think
it definitely is. I get the same feeling when you get like a review or a testimonial, and it's not something you've necessarily asked for, but people have felt compelled enough to write it for you, because you've had an impact in some way, shape or form, how big or how small, on their lives, to say, right, actually now I'm thinking differently because of something that you've done. So I share your warmth, that warm feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. And I forgot to ask you right at the start, what is Fab Solutions, Garry?
So Fab Solutions actually stands for Forensic About Business Solutions. So that's where the Fab comes in. It's not just because it's me and it's all fabulous. Fab Solutions is where I say we because it's a business that is going to grow and it's going to scale and it's going to take over the world. But it's contact center based consultancy. So I work primarily in the contact center space, helping them become more efficient and more effective through process improvement, contact center training, so really investing in your people. And look at the sun comes out as I talk about
there you go, it does,
and leadership development. So I can do coaching, one-to-one support with leaders to help them have awesome conversations with the people so that they can have awesome conversations with your customers and your customers say awesome things about you. So that's Fab Solutions. Should be called Awesome Solutions.
I was just about to say, I think it's awesome and not fab, but no, that's amazing. Well, I just wanted to say thanks very much again for your time this morning, asking me those questions, considering the questions, and then helping me with the answers as well. So thank you for
good luck for that. And congratulations on your 100th episode.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It's an awesome feeling.
Perfect.
Here's to 100 more.
Indeed. Cheers, Garry. Speak to you soon.
Take care. See you later.
Bye. Right, next up, I'm really looking forward to this one. Not that I've not been looking forward to the other people, but Ashley Latham, how are you?
I'm very well, Lee. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Really excited. Actually. I'm loving the opportunity chatting with people and getting a lot of random questions. And I'm anticipating yours might be random, but we'll see. Anyway, but who are you, Ash? Because I'm conscious I know you. So who are you?
Well, I'm a business improvement person, much like yourself, Lee. A bit of process improvement, bit of coaching, bit of training.
Exciting, exciting. Our paths crossed for the first time. How long ago was it? 2 years, is it?
Yeah, about 2 years ago, yeah.
Wow, and you've not aged one bit.
Unfortunately, the same can't be said for people.
No, thank you. Let's. Good. I'm glad we started with compliments. Right. So go on. You've got a couple of questions.
Yeah. So the first question I had, Lee, and forgive the oversimplification. So nowadays you're in the business, I guess, of helping people and businesses to improve.
Yeah.
What I want to know is that what Lee dreamt of doing when he was growing up?
Oh no, it's definitely not. When I was growing up, well, so let me think about this. So when I was growing up, I was a little bit of a, I guess, a computery geek type person. I did and I always thought that my path. So when I was at secondary school, business studies and IT were the two subjects that I think I did all right in. And they're the ones that I got on with in terms of the subject matter. So I always thought that I would like naturally go that way. And then I went to college, but I was DJing at the same time as when I was at college. So I think that kind of impacted my career choice a little bit because I didn't move away from home. When I went to uni, I stayed at a uni that was close, but I didn't enjoy it. So I wasn't doing uni like you should do uni. I was living at home still with my mum and dad. DJ, stop laughing. I'm not doing that now, by the way. DJing like 3, 4, 5 nights a week. So I couldn't do any of the social stuff that with uni. So I ended up dropping out of uni. My mum and dad said to me, they said, well, you can only drop out if you get yourself a job first. So I got a job as a data inputter at Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. So when I was growing up, I thought I was going to be an IT business studies type thing, but I didn't really know what it was. I think it's only been probably like 5 years that I've really known what I wanted to do. So no, good question, Ash. Good question.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a little bit surprised there wasn't something a bit more aspirational in there. You know, maybe you wanted to be a pilot or an astronaut or something like that.
No, so I never had any big grand goals, and I don't know why I didn't. I don't. Cause I've often thought about this, about going. So like my little boy now, he wants to be a footballer. So he wants to be one of two things. He wants to be a footballer, or he wants to be a YouTube streamer. Those are his two things. My little girl wants to be a kid. So she just wants to be a kid all of the time. She doesn't want to ever grow up. And I'll be able to remind them of those two answers. And I think those are two better answers than what I've given. But disappointingly, I never had like this. I want to be that when I grow up, because I never saw myself as good at anything. Like, in fact, we could go really deep now, but we'll not. But yeah, I never saw myself as like being really good at anything. So I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to just do whatever I was doing at that point in time. I wasn't looking into the future. It was just living for that moment, I guess.
Hey, living in the moment, even as a child.
Yeah. Never.
Your daughter's got a head screwed on it. Sounds like aspirations to be a kid for the rest of life. None of the trappings of adulthood.
When we asked her that question, that was the most amazing answer that I could have ever got, because it shows that she's happy doing what she's doing and she's just like loving life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, no, that is the most amazing answer I could have got.
Really good. Thank you. Yeah. My next question is what skills / important lessons did you get whilst you were DJing in a town centre pub dressed as a monkey that are still applicable to what you do today?
Well, still applicable. So there was a lot of lessons at that time of my life that I got, but what are still applicable today? So I guess is it the obvious answer? So when you're DJing in a town centre pub, at 8 o'clock. So I started at 8 and I finished at 1, because in them days kids went out at a normal time. Not like these days. I'm showing my age now. So started at 8, finished at 1, and at the early part of the night, you would not play your floor fillers. You would not play. You'd just like play some level music just to kind of ease people into the night. And then as it got to like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you'd start playing the more popular tracks. And then when it got to 12 o'clock, you'd be like between 11 and 12, the floor would be full. Obviously, the floor would be full, and that would be like the peak of the night. And then after midnight, it would start like decreasing again. So you'd slow it back, you'd slow it down. You'd have the singy song type, the anthems, the theme, that type of stuff is what you would play. So I think that's like work and business now, is that we go through seasons and demand changes. That was in a night, demand would change throughout, but it was to suit the customers. But it wasn't just to suit the customers, like going 8 o'clock, they like that type of music. It's to suit their mood and their feeling at that point in time. So you're trying to take them on an emotional journey throughout the night. So I think that's completely relevant now, is around understanding customers and customers' demand, but also understanding that actually the difference between like just an average night and an amazing night is how much excitement you can build in people, because there's no better feeling than making somebody feel something positive and something amazing, and we've all got that opportunity to do. DJing was that opportunity for me at that point in time, making people feel so. Like between 8 and 10, they've not spoke to the mates for a week. They wanted to come and catch up, and they wanted that opportunity to talk and stuff and build into the night. So you give them that opportunity and the space to do it. And like I said, between 11 and 12, nobody wants to talk to anybody. They just want to jump up and down and sing and just like let their hair down. Those that are fortunate to be able to do that before you comment. So I think understanding customer demand, but making people feel amazing. And I think making people feel amazing is, we've all got that opportunity to do, whatever role we're in. You can always impact somebody and make them feel a little bit better. So that's what I would say for DJing. At the same time, actually, I had a bouncy castle business called Funky Monkey Inflatables, named after DJing dressed as a monkey, and I used to build anticipation for the kids for when I went to drop a bouncy castle off, by ensuring that I had the first go on it for health and safety reasons. So they could see me jumping up and down on the bouncy castle, itching to get on, and I would hold them back just to hold their anticipation a little bit before unleashing them to go. So we've always got opportunities to make people feel more than they do feel. So that's what I would say to that question. Any other lessons from DJing? No, so understanding and reading the customer. Everybody's different as well, actually. So I would be looking at the dance floor, and there'd be like the group of lads at the on the side of the dance floor, sipping the pints, like looking for prey. Some of them, and then others would just be wouldn't have the confidence to do that, but they'd just be like having a bit of a laugh and a joke and stuff. So you can play with those different types of audience as well. So you could take the mick out of one group because you know that they could take it, and you can build the confidence of others as well by making them, like, just giving the moment to shine or whatever, just to pointing the spotlight on them just for a little bit. So everybody's an individual as well, and everybody goes for different things, but we've all got an opportunity to make everybody feel amazing. So that's what I would say.
Nicely done, Lee. Yeah, it's a great answer. I'm actually disappointed how easy it was for you to draw the learnings there.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I would love to. So when I set this process up about asking two or three questions, everybody's asked me, do you want to see the questions beforehand? And I don't want to see the questions because I want to feel that pressure to try to dig deep in to answer the question. Because I think if you'd have asked me that question and I would have had time to rehearse it and prepare it and give an answer, I don't think you would have got that question. I think it's the fact that actually we're hitting record and I'm having to try to think on the spot of the best answer that I can give that's the truest answer possible. So I think it's just the nature of this process that allows me to kind of to get that, because I don't think you would have got that answer. You would have probably got like real mechanical and process driven answers. So I think there's something.
I mean, I think they're great lessons. Just a kind of a question 2B, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. You can call it question 3 if you like.
Yeah, you don't bring the bouncy castles to your workshops, do you, Lee?
No, but only because I've not got any public liability insurance anymore. But I would love to do that. That would be amazing. I would love to. So I think there is definitely something. I mean, not in this environment we're in at the minute where we're not allowed to have groups of people getting too close, because a bouncy castle would encourage people to get close. But I think there's definitely something in combining those two worlds, the kind of the party world, because that's when people let their hair down and go for it, and also the business world, and have so to put all of your questions together, to have transferable lessons delivered in an enjoyable way. I think that's the secret, and I would love to take bouncy castle, because I don't know whether I told you, but when I DJ'd on that bouncy castle business, I had nine bouncy castles, 2 slides, a gladiator duel, bouncy boxing, and 4 pairs of sumo suits, 2 of which are child's. So there was something for everybody there, and I think there's loads of scope for people to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and thanks for letting us know what you had as well. You've never mentioned that.
Yeah, I don't have that anymore. I don't know why I still say that. I think I just like to say that. But I don't know why. That was my sales pitch. But anyway, I've got no idea why I like to say that. But thanks very much, Ash. And do you have a 2C or a?
No. I guess well, just for everyone listening, watch this space for the bouncy castle workshop.
Yeah. I might just have to go and patent that first, actually, before anybody nicks the idea after listening to this podcast. But no, perfect. Thanks very much, Ash. Have an amazing rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, Lee. Take care.
Hey, right, next up is Laura. Hello there, Laura Leyland. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I'm really excited to do this and have the opportunity to chat with you, because I've spoken to your sister a couple of times on the podcast, but this time I get to speak to. How would you describe the difference between the two of you?
Well, Emily doesn't pass up any opportunity to say that she's the younger sister. So I'm not going to pass this opportunity to say that I'm the nicer sister, the best one.
Oh, nicer and best one. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So
yeah, she's monopolised it recently, hasn't she?
Yes, yeah, completely, yeah.
This week she's on holiday, so I stole you yesterday from a live, and now I'm stealing the limelight on the podcast as well.
Yeah, indeed. No, excited, well excited. So who is Laura Leyland, and what do you do?
Oh, so I am one half of our duo, Kitchen Island. I'm the managing director of Fresh Perspective. I can speak Spanish, and I have 3 pugs.
Oh wow! So many. What do you not? Maybe I should have said, what do you not do?
So things. Ironing. I don't do ironing.
Oh yeah, I heard that. No, good stuff.
I don't even know what my iron is.
Oh, do you not?
No.
Okay. So I do have a bit of hair envy, and there's a few people that I talk to with hair envy. So how do you get your hair so straight without an iron?
It's that long now. It's just heavy, and it pulls itself down. It's long. It's just I eat loads of protein.
Oh wow! There we go. Top tips. I wasn't expecting. Yeah. No, amazing. No, so first I just want to say thanks very much for doing this. You got a couple of questions you're going to ask. I've got no idea what these questions are. What's the first one?
Okay, Lee. So I would like to know what you wanted to be when you grow up.
when I grew up, so in fact,
when you were young and you were going to grow up, what did you want to be?
yeah, so okay, good question. So, because I asked my little girl this the other day, and she said that she wants, so she's 5, and when she grows up, she wants to be a kid, so she never wants to grow up. And I so wish, it's an amazing answer, and I so wish that. So I'm not 5 years old now, but I would still love to be that kid. I would still, because I think that's so important that you've got to have a zest for life, and I think you can learn so much from kids. I'm in the middle of writing some stuff at the minute about children, because kids, they focus, if they're really keen, and like my boy might be watching a computer game or playing on a computer game, you cannot interrupt him for one little bit, so he's really focused at certain things, and I think we need to be more focused. My little girl is so loves role play and so creative in her mind, and I think we lose a lot of that when we grow up. And I think some of my best ideas and some of the best things I've done have come from when I've been a bit more childlike and playing and a bit more creative. So I think we can learn loads from kids. Another example, actually, I think it takes just over 3,000 attempts to learn to walk. So a kid, this
oh
is
my
for
God,
a kid,
really?
right? Yeah, so they get up and try to walk, and somebody must have counted these things, and yeah, apparently it's like 3,000 attempts. But we give up so easily when we're older. So I think we can learn from kids. So I would love to have answered that question and be a kid, because I would love to continue learning and never give up and stay focused and stuff. I think that's so important. But disappointingly, my dad DJ'd when I was younger, and then I DJ'd for a period of time in some pubs in Chorley and stuff. So I always wanted to follow him, and I did do up until 7 years ago when I stopped DJing. So that I always imagined myself in doing the entertainment stuff for quite a while. But I stopped that, and now I just want, why? Because I was DJing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had a bouncy castle business every Saturday and Sunday out as well, and I also had a day job. So I was doing what I do now, and I had to decide which path I wanted to go down, and for some reason I chose this path and not the party path. But
telling me that DJing to the Chorley masses wasn't top of your career agenda.
Well, that's shock horror.
I'm shocked to my core.
Yeah, yeah, completely.
Well, then going back to like the kids and they get up to walk 3,000 times. Like when do we lose that resilience, that tenacity to keep going towards a goal? It's interesting, isn't it? When that really got me thinking.
Yeah, I think it's when we get it beaten out of us. So if you think about it, right, and I mean this seriously, right? So I'm sat on my couch here. So you might have like one person sat over on the other side of the room and one person sat here, and we encourage them. And when they fall over, we go, "Oh, it's all right. Go and try again and try again and try again." And then as we get older, the time limit we get to do stuff reduces drastically, and you might get something wrong and you might get beaten for it, or you might be doing a piece of homework or something and you go, "Oh, why have you done it like that?" So you only get 1 attempt to do it or 2 attempts to do it, not 3,000 attempts to do it. So I think
really good point.
I think it's beaten out of us, disappointingly. Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on before we get too sad?
Yes, please.
So tell me what your biggest pet peeve is.
Oh, my biggest pet peeve. I've got a couple. So, but the one that springs to mind first is the people that want to start something, want to get better, want to improve, but they'll wait until Monday, or they'll wait until next month, or they'll wait until the beginning of the year. Why not just bloody start now? That's probably the one that's closely related to what I do for a living. Another pet peeve, really, and I don't know how you're going to react to this one, is people who say that the toilet seat needs to be down all of the time. Why does it?
You mean like the top lid or the seat?
Is it the top lid? Why does the toilet seat need to be down all the time?
Well, I have an interesting answer. So, one of my friends, she runs a massage business, but she's really into a feng shui. I think that's how you say it. And apparently, in like the principles of feng shui, shutting the toilet seat is really important because that's where you lose all your wealth and your money, apparently. So if you have the toilet seat down, you retain your wealth and your money. But if you have it open, then you almost like you lose it in different areas, which is an interesting take on it.
Oh, that is.
My mum would say it's because when you flush the toilet, the spray from the water will carry germs out into your bathroom. So that's why she puts the lid down. So many different reasons.
Yeah, so many different reasons. Yeah, yeah. One, you're either going to be dirty or poor.
Oh, or both.
Yes. Yeah. Or do you say just say poor for me? Poor.
Oh.
Oh, you're posh, aren't you? Like your sister. What?
The first time I've ever been called posh.
well, because you don't say poor like I do. Poor.
Do you say book and Luke?
Yes.
Oh no, book, look, or
Yeah,
stairs or stairs.
Stairs.
Oh,
It's that private education you had, isn't it?
Which school did you go to? Did you go to school in Scotland?
Yeah, Southlands.
Me too. So
Yeah.
you know, we had the same chance.
Yeah, it must have got a lot better after I left. Better quality of teaching after I left, I think. Oh, never mind.
We learned from you and got some feedback and implemented some changes to improve for the better.
You're very politely put. Yeah, good. No, good stuff. No, thank you for that. Do you have any more?
Yes, so moving on from pet
Wow.
peeves, what's your kryptonite?
My kryptonite. Oh. So when you say when you say kryptonite, do you mean the thing that gives me energy or saps my energy?
That's it, because like if you think about man, like kryptonite literally floors him. He's useless when kryptonite's around.
Yeah.
That's up in a special box.
Yeah. So okay, what is my kryptonite? What is it? This is a really good question. Really good question. So I think that has to be. Do you know those the black cloud carriers? Black cloud carriers. So you might see them. So I work in a lot of different offices, and you see these people, and they've got like a balloon, and they've got like a black cloud above them, and you can see them. They've generally got the shoulders are sloped, they're arched a little bit. They're stood by the
actual black cloud. You mean like metaphorically speaking?
Yes, metaphorically speaking. So that the shoulders are rounded, and then they're stood by the water cooler, and they're beckoning people over to them, and they're complaining about something, and they're recruiting other people to the Black Cloud Carrier Club. I think it's those people, but only for that reason. The reason that they've got so much influence over other people. The reason that other people listen to them as well. I think if you're a black cloud carrier and you're really miserable, just stay miserable yourself. Don't recruit other people. Yeah, don't recruit. So those definitely sap my energy. They, I find, but do what I do. We're working with businesses and change. I ask, who are those people? Because I find if I can convert and turn those people to be advocates of what it is that we're going to improve and we're going to do, then they then influence others in a positive way. But yeah, so I would say those sap my energy first by far, because they shouldn't be recruiting.
But it's because everything that you then say or do is just interpreted negatively by them. You can't get through to them in a positive way. I went to I think it was a HR conference a few years ago, and we watched a seminar, and I can't remember exactly what the whole seminar was about, but I really remember part of it. And he had an image on his PowerPoint, and he had people within a team, within a business, and some people just had a drain pipe near them, and other people had radiators, and some people had both. Like, you would either be a radiator, so you radiate warmth, kindness, positivity, energy, or you drain that. But where best it's better if people are both, because sometimes you can't always be positive and you are going to be a bit down, so you might be a little bit more of a drain on that day, but on other days you're a radiator, and it flips back and forth between people, so there's give and take, and it just really
I love that.
Stayed with me.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna borrow that one actually. I really like that. I think it's so important, so important. And I spoke to somebody on the podcast. I think one of my very early episodes, a motivational speaker, and he said that too many people say that they've had a bad day, and very few people have a bad day. They might have a few bad minutes or few bad moments, but you'll never have a bad day. Yeah. And it's flipping that perspective.
I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, you can have that one. That's one each. Yeah, that's one each. Yeah, from how did you refer to yourself? As the better, nicer?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. No, thank you.
Question. I asked this in an interview once, and I thought it was the most bizarre question I've been ever asked in an interview. Yeah. And it was, if you. Oh, hang on. Which way was it? Oh my God. Which end of the jelly baby would you eat first, and why?
Oh. Oh, I love that. So which one? I
don't think it has any bearing in an interview for a job, but it is a funny question.
It is. So probably one of the arms is what I would eat first.
Why?
Yeah. So I think so, and so because I think it's right. So, and I'm thinking about this far too deeply now because jelly babies don't walk, so it's irrelevant. But I thought to myself that my thought process was, well, if I bit the legs, then the jelly baby wouldn't be able to move, and I think it's important for people to be able to have freedom of movement. And I thought,
God. If someone who broke their ankle in lockdown, I fully agree with that.
Yeah. How did you do that? Just living in four walls?
I went out for a run and just fell over.
Got you.
I always knew running was dangerous for my health.
Exercise isn't good for you. And then I thought to myself after about the legs, I thought if you bite its head, I'm a big advocate of thinking drives behaviour, and everything starts with thoughts and stuff like that. So I thought if you do that, then the jelly baby is not going to be able to think, and it's not going to be able to improve, and it's not going to be able to behave, and all of that stuff. So the arms are the least important part of. So that's why.
The depth to this answer is amazing. I went with I'd eat its head first, because then it would be over quickly and it wouldn't know any other pain in the rest of the jelly baby. If I ate that first, it'd just be like done.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, I suppose kindness. If I had to, that's what I would do. So to not put it through any unnecessary pain.
Yeah. So you went on it from a killing perspective, didn't you?
Yeah. Humane killing of the jelly baby.
Yeah. Wow. I think that question says, and your answer says quite a lot about you, Laura. If I'm honest.
I'm humane but ruthless.
Yeah, and I'm glad this has been done over a Zoom call and not in person. So thank you for that. So if anybody wanted to know a little bit more about the nicer, better sister of Fresh Perspective, where would they go?
I think the best place is either my LinkedIn account. So I've got two because I'm greedy. So Laura Leyland or Laura E. Leyland, or I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Perfect. Why'd you have two?
Because ages ago, LinkedIn kept telling me that it was going to stop me from adding people, because when I was sending connections, when I was an old school recruiter, people kept saying that they didn't know me when they didn't want to accept my connection, which tells LinkedIn that you're adding people that don't know you, which is against the rules of LinkedIn, because you're only supposed to add people that you know, which I disagree with, because I don't think that that's networking. Networking is getting to know people you don't know. Contacting people you already know is socializing. So in the end, LinkedIn had enough and decided to put me in a permanent ban to stop me adding connections, which we just started fresh. So it was a big problem.
Yeah.
Contact candidates or potential customers. So I set up a new profile, but then LinkedIn listened to my pleadings and decided to lift the ban on my other profile as well. So then that's why I have to.
Oh, amazing. And what does the E stand for?
Elizabeth.
Oh, very good. Very good. No, thank you for that, and thank you for the questions today. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. So much appreciated. Have a lovely weekend.
You too.
And catch up with you soon, Laura.
All right then. Thanks, Lee.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Right, next up is Mr. Elliott himself, business partner, co-founder of Get Knowledge. Hello there, Jason. How are you?
I'm all right, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So for those people who don't know who you are you?
So I would say that I am the older, wiser, more knowledgeable half of Get Knowledge.
Yeah.
Obviously not the younger, good-looking one. That's you.
Well, you can't have everything though, can you? I guess.
No.
No, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So thank you for doing this. Do you have a couple of questions?
I do. Yeah, that's what I'm here for, isn't it?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm asking the questions, right? So
yeah,
I'll keep them serious as well.
Oh.
Which you'd be pleased to hear. So my first question, right, is, so I've listened to all of the podcasts every week. So I've followed all, there's like 98 now, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm right, aren't I? So most of the guests, from what I can remember, have been about kind of mindset, business improvement type stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's all been around that. But for me, there's also physical improvement, which is a part of the overall kind of improvement of self. And I just wondered how much onus you put on that yourself, and you thought that was important. And before you stop me, have you thought about having more guests that focus on that side of improvement?
Okay, good question. So the first answer that pops into my head is, have you not seen the bath videos? Because of course, this is a temple, obviously. But no, I think it is a real serious point. So I've been listening actually to something at the minute that says that it's not just your head that has neurons in it. So there's your head that's got neurons in it. Apparently your heart's got neurons in it, and your stomach has got neurons in it, which I didn't realise. So that means that actually that these things are talking to your brain. So you need to eat healthier to provide the right nutrients and stuff for your brain. So historically, no, I have not really considered my physical stuff, and also spoken to people about that. But I think I need to, because I think it's about focusing on the whole now. And that, as I become more knowledgeable, I think, so the episode that you've not heard yet, which is next week's, which is the week before this week's, if that makes any sense, because this is number 100. That's my kind of, it's my favourite episode because I'm reflecting back over the previous 98 episodes. And what I've said is that in that every single week is a reflection. I don't keep a journal. I don't keep anything like that. I've just recently started that. But the podcast is the only collection of thoughts, challenges, issues, things that I've had over the last 2 years. Because when I record an episode, it's because I might have been sparked because of a conversation I've had this week and stuff like that. So it's been an actual journey. So these 100 episodes, as we are on now, have been my journey over the last 2 years. And as I've learned more about mindset, I think now I'm learning more about diets, and I'm learning more about the physical aspect. So you might not recognize me in the bath soon.
Yeah, wow. That's something to look forward to, isn't it? Definitely.
Yes, I think so.
Can't wait for that. Yeah. I just on what you said there about like your journey and that being part of the things that you talk about on your podcast. I've actually seen that. So because I get to spend a bit of time with you. So I know I've listened to some, and I've kind of gone, oh, we were having a conversation about that 3 weeks ago, kind of thing.
Yeah, completely.
So yeah, I can see that.
When I started the podcast, I thought I would run out of material really early doors. But the thing that happens is because we live every day and every week, we're living and breathing it with clients, with conversations that we're having. So that's been the main source of my content, the people I've spoken to, the work I've been doing. Yeah. So it's good.
Cool. Right. Next question then.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you remember when you met Nigel Risner? right, I really liked this one, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know what number it was, right? I can't remember what number it was, but you had a chat with Nigel Risner, and the first part of that conversation, he was on about monkeys and elephants, right? And he said, and I won't swear on your podcast, right? He said something along the lines of, monkeys are an absolute bleep nightmare for elephants, right? And I'm a Doll fan, right? So I'm a bit of a mixture in between two, right? So, and he was right. He was right, right? There's something in that, right? What I wanted to ask you is, how are you finding being in business with a Doll fan?
So, I think, what am I honestly thinking? So I think I need that. If it was just, have you been to Knowsley Safari Park?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you've driven through the Monkey Pan?
Oh yeah. There's a part of my car in there still.
Yeah. So in there, they just do whatever they want, whenever they want, and they don't care about anything, do they? They're just free roaming. There's food everywhere. They're destroying vehicles however they want. And if I was working with a monkey, it would just be like that. Things would just get destroyed. It might be quite. They look quite happy and they're enjoying themselves, but it's quite catastrophic. It's quite destructive, and they're just all over the place. In fact, so much so that a few weeks ago when I went, one got on top of the car and crapped on the roof and just left it there. So I think working and having the opportunity to work with a Dolophant, half elephant, half dolphin, I think is what a monkey needs. They need an elephant to keep them on track and structure. So if you didn't have some of the conversations you have and go, have you done that action that you said that you were going to do, or don't forget you've got that call, or why did you not do that call and stuff like that, then I would just be all over. I would just be doing whatever the hell I wanted whenever I wanted. So I think, yes, I am an absolute nightmare to work with, but I need an elephant. And I quite like the elephant, the Dolphants, Ellie, Finn kind of combination that you've got going on.
That's good. That's good. That There are some good things about having monkeys about as well. So I'm just there's good things about that as well. You are very creative, but it's a bit ironic, isn't it, that the one that's in the bath isn't the dolphin, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. My fur gets all wet. But yeah, no, you're dead right. It is, and I think the thing that Nigel Risner does is really, really clever. And just with those 4 animals, you can identify which one you are and stuff. But I think the challenge is finding the one that is complementary to you as an animal. Because if it was just full of dolphins, then it'd be a lovely place where everybody just cuddled all of the time, but stuff might not get done. If there's a load of elephants there, then it's just a load of structure. You're a cuddly structure kind of guy.
It's sense making, isn't it? It's being able to make sense. Right, last question then.
Oh yeah.
So we've been at this for like 2 years now or something, right? So we've been in Get Knowledge together for 2 years. What's your favourite thing about Get Knowledge?
So I think there's a couple of things actually. The most favourite thing is the opportunity to, in fact, there's a few. I'm gonna have to pick a few things, and then I might pick one. So before Get Knowledge, I was not in control of where I was, what I was doing, and I was a lot of time away from the family and stuff. So that brought its own challenges, but having this opportunity to work in Get Knowledge and find and do the business development and find clients that are closer to home is advantageous. But I think the best thing is when I was at, where was I? So when I was in the public sector, HMRC, and my dad said to me, you've never had a proper job working in the public sector, so I needed to move to the private sector to try to to try to prove to him that I could actually work. What I did, I transferred me lean on me improvement stuff from one sector to another sector. But I think that's taking somebody else's recipe and making the same cake, but for a different company. What the best thing I think about this is using, so you've done it for about 15 years, I've done it for about 15 years, and it's using that combined knowledge and of what works for different people, different teams, different businesses, and creating our own cake based on all of that knowledge, based on all of our lessons, and proving that it works. I think that's by far the best thing, because that's our own recipe, it's our own style of cake, and it's working. But when you work for other people, you don't have that opportunity. You deliver their type of the recipe. So I think it's that, actually proving that what we do works, that what we do gives us a work-life balance opportunity, and what we do is enjoyable, really enjoyable.
Cool.
So, yeah,
well,
so good.
That's it. Yeah, you said we're allowed 3, so that's me 3.
Perfect. So, quick question for you: if people want to find out a bit more about the Dollafant, Elephant, Jason Elliott,
Nearly.
Where would they go?
Where would they go? Well, they'd probably go LinkedIn, wouldn't they? So that's where I'm spending most of my time when I'm not with a client. So
yeah,
Jason Elliott on LinkedIn. Where do they go to find you?
Anywhere, at the bath.
In a bath.
Yeah, tap end.
Yeah, I'll be on LinkedIn, not in a bath.
Yeah.
But yeah, LinkedIn.
Perfect. No, thank you very much, and thank you for asking me a couple of questions. And we'll speak to you soon.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Hey, next up is Sian. How are you, Sian?
Hi Lee, I'm good, thank you. How's it going?
Yeah, really good, thank you. But who are you, for those people that don't know who you are?
Hi everyone, I'm Sian Bernadine. I'm currently working in the steelworks in South Wales. I was first introduced to Lee when I was working as part of the operational excellence team, delivering transformation in steelworks. There we worked delivering change management. That's how I know Lee as well.
Perfect. So I just want to say thank you for agreeing to do this as well. Well, when I say agreeing to it, you weren't asked. You volunteered. You put your hand up, didn't you? Yeah. I'll ask you some questions, which is
yeah,
exciting.
I thought why not have a go? You know, I've listened to podcasts quite a bit. I've listened to yours a few times as well. I know you were pushing it when we were working with you before.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah,
Right.
So why not get in the mind of Lee?
Oh yeah. So be afraid. Be very afraid. A few people have entered and never left. So so just be careful. Rightio. Shall we get into this?
Yeah. So the first thing I was going to talk about is about your comedy influences. You often use comedy with your coaching.
Yeah.
Who are your big comedy influences?
Okay, so that is a great question, actually, right? Because I never thought I had comedy. In fact, I don't think have I got comedy influences? So, right at the start of this episode, the first person that I speak to is my dad.
Yeah.
So I think what I've got to say is that, and he is probably the first comedy influence that I had. So he DJ'd throughout my youth. And then I started DJing after that. And do you know when you pick up those 101 Dad's Joke books, you can probably go through that, and my dad has probably said about 98 of them. And so I think so that was my first introduction to I'll use the term comedy very loosely. Comedy through my dad, and in terms of performance and trying to make people laugh and smile. And then I think the first comedian that probably had the biggest influence on me was Peter Kay, because he has a knack of delivering typical things that happen and making them funny. So making you relate to what he's saying, but he makes a joke out of it and about funny because it's so relatable. And I love
Do you
that.
use that in your own work as well?
Yes.
When you're coaching people.
Yes, because I think that's so important. So I went on a stand-up comedy course just about a month ago, something like that. And what they teach you is the very first thing that you need to build is connection with an audience, and you need to understand a little bit about them as individuals or what jokes are working well and what jokes are not working well and stuff like that. So yes, I'd try to use comedy whilst I'm delivering, but I also try to tailor it to the audience I'm with in front of, because if I'm with a board of directors in an organisation and I'm like a performing monkey waving my hands around, then they will not necessarily. It's got to take a lot of balls for them to go, okay, yeah, we're laughing along with you here. Whereas I've got to like just build it in subtly there.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like the engagement days that I did when I was with yourselves, when you've got like 80 or 100 people there in an audience and you've got a full audience to play with, then you can be a little bit closer to the wire and you can kind of build up rapport really quickly with a lot of people by trying to make them laugh. So I think humour is so important, but I think it's also individual as well, because I think some people will think that I'm not very funny, and some people will think that I am a little bit funny.
Yeah.
So I think I've got to be mindful that not everybody thinks a performing monkey is a good thing. So yeah. What type of comedy do you like?
I quite like the real life comedy. I think Lee Evans is really funny. I don't mind a little bit of slapstick, but I also like kind of the Ricky Gervais, the darker side of comedy, the stuff you laugh at where you know you shouldn't really be laughing at it.
Yes. Yeah, completely. I've been to see Jimmy Carr a number of times, and there's some of the one-lines that he delivers. You kind of go ooh and then laugh, or laugh and then go ooh. You've realised you're laughing and then go ooh. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. No, brilliant. Well, I think comedy is so important, and I think that's if you can make somebody laugh, then you're on a. It's not about hierarchy and stuff like that. It's just about connecting with people.
It breaks down the barriers, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely does. Yeah, great question. Do you have any more?
Yeah, so the next thing I think about, you've obviously learned a lot through your career. If there's one lesson you've learned that you'd want to pass on to children, what would that be?
One lesson I've learned that I will pass on to my children. So there's a few that I deliver that I say to my kids all the time. So every day I say to them, be happy, be yourself, and always do your best. So I say that to them. But so 2 years ago, before I started my business with Jason, business partner, I was working as an employed consultant for a consultancy. And at that time, so my boy would have been 5 and my girl would have been 3 at the time. And every single day I would have been telling them, you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up, as long as you're happy, be whatever you want to be. And at that point in time, I wasn't what I wanted to be. So I think something that's really important is if I'm saying to my kids, you can be whatever you want to be, and I'm not actually being whatever I want to be, I think you've got to also live those lessons, because it's dead easy to say no, be polite, or make sure you close those doors, or make sure you put the toilet seat down at all times, or whatever, or you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. But you've got to. It's easy to give advice, but you've got to live it as well. And I think that's probably a key bit. But that's like in change, isn't it? So in change, we want to try to influence behaviours and habits. But if we're not role modelling those things as well, then why the bloody hell should anybody else?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think role modelling what you believe is so important. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's some really good advice there.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. And I guess my last question is, we've had a conversation around this before about what's like being normal. The question is, to you, what do you see as normal? And do you want to be normal?
Yeah, I was having this conversation with I've got a community of change people, and we had a conversation probably about 6 weeks ago now, doing the scale of normal and getting people to rate, and two people said to me, they were, because I'm easy to be people flip the question on me and they go, well, I'd score you, Lee, a solid 3 out of 10. So I got scored a solid 3 out of 10 on the normal scale. But if I score myself on the normal scale, I've got to score myself it depends how I'm doing it. It depends on my my stereotypical views of normality. So let me have a little think about this one. Right, so how normal am I? I'm a 10 on normal for me. But how normal am I compared to society? We could go really deep with this, actually. So how normal
that's a philosophical question, isn't it?
Yeah. So with society, so I know there's things that I do that are not necessarily deemed normal. Recording videos in the bath, not necessarily normal. Doing podcasts, not necessarily normal. Loving public speaking, not necessarily normal. Going on a stand-up comedy course, not necessarily normal. Starting your own business and leaving employment, not necessarily normal. So I think all of these things together, getting tattoos, becoming more normal, but not necessarily normal. So if I was to say how normal am I against society's norms, then I would say a solid 3, like I was scored the other week, is probably an accurate score, because I think, yes, I live in a house, I drive a car on the correct side of the road, I eat food through my mouth and I use a knife and fork. Do you know what I mean? Those things I am really normal with. I mean, if you saw me eating at the table, then that might not think that that's normal, but I do eat normally, I think. So I think solid 3 out of 10 is probably a really good score from it against society. But for me personally, I'm a 10 because this is normal for me. And if I say to my kids, be happy, be yourself, and always do your best, the middle one is be yourself. So if I'm saying that normally I am being myself, then I'm scoring myself a 10. So I would give those 2 scores. Yeah, solid 3 against society, 10 for Lee and normal himself. Yeah, I love that question, because I think it's such an individual answer and perspective that you get, because it's based on their own upbringing, biases, stereotypes, and what they believe as normal. What do you think's normal?
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, normal from my background is, you know, you go to work, you get a job, you buy a house, you have a family, you retire. You know, there's that linear of normal, but then there's so many things outside the norm where it's like, well, you know, I'm a young woman working in the steelworks. Is that normal? You know?
yeah. Great example. I think if as long as you're just normal to yourself and you're doing stuff that's normal for you, and whatever, and you're being yourself, then that's the true measure, I think.
Also, I'm not sure if I want to be normal, if I want to be in that average normal, you know?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. There's a lot of people that are just there. You want to stand out, don't you? You want to do things differently. It's like if you scroll through LinkedIn or any social media, you'll see 80% of the posts are normal posts about themselves, about what they've done, and what they work, or either helping people or client feedback and all of that stuff. That's just normal. But the ones that get the greatest amount of engagement, positive or negative, are the ones that stand out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I spoke to somebody for the first time at the start of this week. Never spoke to him before, and we had a Zoom call. And he went, "Oh, you're the guy who does the bath videos." And I've not done a bath video now for 3 months. I am going to do them again, but I've not done one for 3 months. And that's stuck in his head. So it's me doing
something that might not be normal, but it's been memorable. So it's allowed me to stand out. So I think just do what's right for you, I think. Yeah. Good. I love that. I could chat all day about stuff like that. In fact, is that all your questions?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Perfect. If people want to find out more about Sian, where would they do that?
Best place to probably find me on LinkedIn. My full name Sian Bernadine. SIAN BERNADINE.
Yeah, perfect. So when you were saying you're spelling your name, it looked like you were reading your name.
No, I wasn't. I was just looking at the screen.
Oh, that's all right then. That's all right. I thought you had to read your own name out. No, that's perfect. No, but thanks again for asking those questions, and have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, and you. Cheers, Lee.
Cheers, Sian.
Ready? Right. Next up is Anish. How are you, Anish?
I'm doing great. Mr. H. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really, really good. So I always introduce you as Mr. Habits himself, but I guess this time I'll let you introduce yourself. Who are you?
Yeah, you can call me Mr. Habits.
Yeah.
I'll say Anish Hindocha. I am the business owner of Jigsaw Change Consulting, and it's an honor. Lee and I have spoken before, but 100th episode. So congratulations, mate. I mean, 100 episodes is no mean feat. So awesome. Yeah, I'm a lean consultant by trade, and Jigsaw Change Consulting is principally all around habit formation for individuals and organizations, etc., etc. So yeah, that's me.
Perfect. No, thank you very much, and thank you very much for agreeing to do this as well, and sticking your hand up and offering your services. So I'm looking forward to this. So go on, hit me with how many questions did you say you've got?
I think I've got 3.
3 questions at the minute. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give it a whirl.
Scratching my head. I don't know what you're going to get thrown at you, to be honest with you, but I was like, what do I listen to when I get an idea of some really good questions? And it's Desert Island Discs just keeps coming back to me all the time. So I don't know if you've had this before, but you're on a desert island, Lee. If you can take one record with you, show my age, one record, what would it be and why?
So no, I've never been asked this question. So I used to be a DJ. I know. Used to be a DJ. I know. So it's gonna. What? Okay.
No.
Say again.
I'm a Barbie girl.
No, not that one. No, not yet. No, that would probably second. But what I would take is so. Do you remember Moby Play?
Yes. Got it.
Yeah, we got it right. So I love that album, and when I DJ'd, at parties, that was the song, or that was the album, sorry, that I played during the buffet, when people were just chatting, talking, and we were connecting with all of the people that were in the audience and stuff, like walking around and eating food. So I like that one because that is there's no real words in it. It's thought provoking, and you can just lose yourself in that music. So
Brilliant.
Moby Play would be it. I've been asked what my favorite track is before, and like single songs. I could pick single songs from different things for different reasons, but I think if I was to take a full album, that would be the album that I would definitely take.
I know it very well. Yeah.
I love it. I love it because it allows you to do so much. Because it's melodic, and you can either just sit and think, or you can have it as background music. So yeah, that would be what I would choose. Yeah, great.
Brilliant.
Great question.
As they say on that show, it's yours. you can have that. You can take that one away with you. Second one, right? So you've been good enough to ask people to interview you for your 100th episode, and I know you've interviewed loads of people. But if you could interview anybody at all that you want, who would it be?
Anybody at all. So I've been asked this question. Okay, so I've been asked this question before, and my question. So the answer that I've given before had been Jurgen Klopp because of how he builds the team, and how he takes players from that might not have reached their potential at the club they're playing for, bring them to Liverpool and the world beaters. But I want to give you a different answer. So I'd quite like Marcus Aurelius.
Okay.
So he wrote a book called Meditations. I don't know whether you know of it.
Yeah, Stoicism, if I pronounce that right.
Yeah. So I would love to unpick his brain, and so because there's a lot of thought that have gone into his meditations, and I don't know whether I've interpreted them the same way that he's meant them and the meaning behind them. So I would love to maybe dig into, have a copy of that book with me, flick through that book and read some of them to him. Go, what did these mean to you when you wrote it, and and this is what they mean to me, and stuff. I'd love to have that conversation, and because I spoke with somebody the other week, and we were talking about when you oversimplify something. So like, do you know, like the GROW model, or like, I mean, I've got my Q for confidence and 4 C's for team engagement, all these things. So people have mental models for to remember the thought process for. So like GROW model, 4 questions, you can coach anybody to achieve anything. But that's I think that's oversimplifying something that's really, really complex.
Right.
So I think that might have been the case with some of Marcus Aurelius's meditations. I might have oversimplified them, and I want to understand the meaning that sits behind them, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I've not read Meditations, but is that a book recommendation as well?
So yeah, I've listened to it. I've got it. I've read it, and I've listened to it as well. And I think it just depends, because I think you've got to be in the right mindset to be accepting of that type of stuff as well, because I'm a big believer in your thoughts drive your behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm a big believer in the power of emotion and being able to control your emotion, and the difference between good and great is emotion. And I think all of these things in Stoicism and these things together, I think, can provide a richer life. But I think you've got to be open to doing that and being that and living that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it could be a book recommendation, but it's like different lines, different meditations. It's not a story. You might resonate with some more than others. I might have misinterpreted them, and do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Well,
deep. We could go deep on this.
It could go quite deep, couldn't it? Maybe episode 150. Who knows?
Yeah,
you might get your man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks for that. So I had one more for you. I had one more question. So this is really related to you and your business, and I'm going to read it just as I've written it here, which is: you sit in a bath, you do videos at the drop of a hat. You've even done some stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to people who know they should start getting uncomfortable, but they kind of don't know where to start?
That is amazing. So I always remember my very first disco. My very first disco, I was 18 years old, DJing at a girl's 18th birthday. 18 years old, DJing at a girl's 18th birthday party. So I wasn't overly confident at that time. I was not overly outgoing, and my dad DJ'd, and my dad, biggest inspiration, and I wanted to DJ like he DJ'd and stuff like that at parties and make people smile. And I remember I had my roadie with me, so me and Scott were there, and I pressed play on the first track, and I went and hid behind the speaker so nobody could see me. So I hid behind the speaker, and so it was Robbie Williams' "Let Me Entertain You" was the intro music, because there's about a 20-second interlude partway through that track where you can say something, and then Robbie kicks in and goes, "Let me entertain you," that bit.
All right. Yeah.
So I always finished with my introduction, so like, "Good evening, welcome to my name is," and all of this stuff. "So why don't you?" And then Robbie goes, "Let me entertain you." And I hid behind the speaker and did it. And then partway through the second song, I would probably then have the confidence to step out onto stage, because we were in it then, the lights were down and nobody would see it. So it's like the bath video. The bath video was a progression from the shower first. So I was in the shower first with a shower curtain, and I just peeped my head through with the shower curtain.
Yes.
And before that, it had just been me sat in a room recording myself on my phone. So
Okay.
I think it is all about starting small, and not necessarily knowing where you want to end up. Just be comfortable with that journey. But if you want to record a bath video, don't necessarily get into the bath and hit record straight away, because you'll be more conscious about the bubbles, the water, and all of that stuff, not necessarily
Right.
what you're saying and what you're doing. I would say just get comfortable recording a video first
And work your way up to the bath.
and work your way up to it. Yeah,
Right.
completely. I would start small and build it, because loads of people say fake it till you make it, don't they? So that's one school of thought, is that get in the bath and just fake it, and eventually you become more comfortable. But I think if you can break it down into its component parts, be comfortable in your subject matter, then and then when you're really comfortable with that, make yourself a little bit more uncomfortable with something else, and then make yourself until it becomes the full package. I can't believe I just used the word full package whilst talking about bath videos.
There's been too many euphemisms going through my mind as well.
Yeah, sorry, it is. So that's what I would say. So start small, build it up, become comfortable, and then build it up further. Because I didn't know I wanted to do bath videos.
I mean, is there another thing after the bath? Can you get even more uncomfortable than that? Because my mind kind of stops there. One day, maybe I'll be able to do a video in a bath, but I'm not promising. So,
if you want, you can have the tap end, and we'll. Is that too much we could share?
You're editing this, aren't you?
No, that's real. You're not, completely unedited. So no,
Yeah,
but based on your reaction, I think that's a go one. But so yeah, I would just say start small. So loads of people message me that if they're out of work or they want and they go, can you review my CV? Can you review my LinkedIn profile? We see you on LinkedIn all of the time and stuff, and I try to encourage them just to do one video, do one post first, so that they're getting out there, and then get regular posting. So post every week, then content, and then I go do a video, and then do another video, and then do another. So over time, you've done posts, then you've done videos, and then who knows where that might go. Then you just become comfortable delivering content. So that's what it's.
That is, and people, you and I both run our own businesses, and we do a fair bit on social media. So video kind of comes to mind when it comes to getting uncomfortable. But when you think about your ideal customers and your target clients, a lot of them will be working in organizations, right? For them, getting uncomfortable might not be video. It doesn't have to be. It could be, how do I have a conversation with a board member? How am I going to approach that? Again, would you suggest there with starting small, or do you have other tactics?
Completely starting small. I would definitely advocate this. So I was talking to somebody just week before last about so I've got an impact model for communication, and part of that is at the end is make it memorable. And the way that I try to make emails memorable is in the subject line. And they were really nervous about going for the whole impact model and changing all of the style right in one. And so what I said is just change your rather than say in your subject customer experience results enclosed for April, put 23% of customers don't like you. And they felt really uncomfortable and nervous about doing that because it's not what the norm is. So I think it's an individual thing, but I would just start to push the boundaries a little bit on everything. But only because you don't know where it's going to end up. If you say that I want to do bath videos, or I want to stand up and talk confidently at a TED talk, that might be a year away. But in a year's time, you might not want that. You might, because you've started small, you might have navigated over somewhere completely different. I would just focus on growth.
Good stuff. What do you think holds most people back then?
What holds most people back? starting on Monday or starting next month or starting at the beginning of the year. So the time between the idea to do something and when they want to start it, why not? This is my biggest frustration. Why not bloody start it now? What stops you from actually doing something now that moves you closer to it, rather than going, oh, we'll start after the weekend, or we'll start next month, or we'll start for New Year's Eve. So that's what I think. One of the things, just that delay, having that delay makes it less achievable. I think that just makes you fail, or creates that. And I think not really. I think setting a goal. So I know I said around setting a goal, like TED Talk. It's all right to do that as long as you're comfortable in going. Actually, you might not be there in a year's time. You might be somewhere completely different, but you're just moving towards a destination and just keep working towards that. So I think setting a goal and starting now, moving towards it. I would say lack of those two things prevents people from doing it.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting when I talk to people about habit formation as well. This expectation management about where it is that they want to get to and not being able to meet it seems to, from my perspective, just kind of put the brakes on what should be the first natural step, which is why not now? As you say, you know, what's the smallest thing you could possibly do on day one that would get you towards it, even if it doesn't work, you know.
Completely, because you're doing something different. And you're growing. Yeah, no, perfect. Any more questions, Anish?
No, I'm done. We could keep talking, but no, I'm done.
Well, and I think we will do. We are going to talk on actually just me and you on the podcast in a few weeks' time as well, aren't we?
Look forward to it. Yeah, absolutely.
No, me too. So we'll chat a little bit more about habits then. But thank you very much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And enjoy yourself. Cheers, Anish.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Right, next up is Pete Cann, Laughing Man. Hello there, Pete. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. I'm really good. First thing I want to say, thank you so much for inviting me along to ask you 3 questions, mate. Because actually,
oh no, I'm made up that you're able to actually. But for those people that don't, who is Pete Cann?
Who's Pete Cann? Well, Pete Cann is, like you say, the laughter man. So I run laughter workshops, basically laughter yoga workshops for businesses and people, who need a little lift through laughter. But I'm also, I've got a podcast myself called Laughter and Positivity with Pete. So I thought today my 3 questions were going to be geared around laughter and positivity. So,
oh wow,
are you ready?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready if you are.
First question for you, Lee, is, and it's not really, it's not about positivity, but it is about the fact that we have got that connection where we both DJ'd. So I suppose it's 2 questions. So what was your DJ name, if you had one? And what was the most memorable DJ moment that you had?
Oh wow, exciting. Okay. So I always pick myself because I never really had a DJ name, and I saw a lot of people with DJ names. So on my business card it said probably the best parties in the world. So I played on my name there, and I always remember DJing in a student pub in Manchester, in Fallowfields in Manchester, and it was a DJ competition, and I turned up and I looked at the poster, and up first was DJ Ice. Then up next was like DJ something or other, like DJ Whoop-de Whoop Whoop, and then up third was Lee Houghton, and that made me like feel a little bit intimidated, that did. But then what was amazing about the night is DJ Ice was an amazing DJ, like mixing everything and stuff with his headphones like you've got on today, and so he was technically very good. And then the second guy got up, he was a hip-hop R&B DJ, mixing it really smooth and stuff like that. Had a few people on the dance floor. And I was sat there at the back and like just watching, going, this is a student pub. People are getting drunker and drunker. They just want to have a laugh. So I got up, and my first track was Dolly Parton, 9 to 5, followed by the Jacksons, I Want You Back. Filled the dance floor, won the competition. DJ Ice and DJ Whoop-de Whoop Whoop were absolutely bloody fuming because I didn't mix anything. I just picked up my microphone in between tracks and started talking. So there you go. That was one of my memorable.
Nice, mate. Nice. So I tell you what off the back of that though, mate, is the fact that it's all about knowing your audience.
Yes.
Yes.
See what you did there. See what you
There's
did.
a lesson there. There's a lesson there. So going to the positivity. So like I say, my podcast is Laughter and Positivity.
Yeah.
Or actually quickly, Big Pete was my DJ name. So when I used to DJ, I was known as Big Pete. Now people that see me who knew me from back there call me formerly known as Big Pete because I've shifted a few pounds. But
so
that's
just,
another
just
story.
A quick question. If I was to Google that, would I find pictures of you?
Of Big Pete? Yeah. Big Pete revival Big Pete. You'll find me. I won't. Yeah, they might not be the most glamorous photos in the world. So bit of positivity then. What 3 things create positivity in your life?
Oh, what 3 things create positivity in my life? I'm kind of regretting now not asking people to send the questions before the podcast. Okay, 3 things. So I'm not going to cheat actually. So I've got 2 kids, so I've got to group them as one thing, haven't I? Because I'm told I'm not allowed to have a favourite child. So I'll say my children definitely bring me positivity. They're the reason why I do what I do. What else brings me positivity? I would say I'm a bit of a geek, really. So I like learning stuff. I like listening to stuff, and I like learning stuff and challenging myself and doing courses. And so I like being like and I think that drives my positivity, is that I'm just constantly learning all of the time, every opportunity I get from other people, podcasts, audio books. So I think that gives me positivity and makes me feel good. In fact, I had a coaching call. So I'm being coached at the minute, and I had a coaching call the other week, and I started the coaching call, and I was like, bah, 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 and I was downloading all sorts of different stuff, really speed talking, and then through this coaching call, at the end of the coaching call, I had the opportunity just to I was just talking really slowly, really considered, and I was in a really good place. So I think actually the third thing that makes me positive is just being able to take a step out of stuff and just think and just not we're in life all of the time, aren't we? But if you just take a step out of it at the minute, of the day to day, I think that's huge for people's positivity, and definitely huge for my positivity. If I just have 5 minutes of just silence, which in a house of 2 kids is not very easy to do, but it's a house of 5 minutes of silence and just kind of reground myself, then that works wonders for my positivity. So I would say those things: having the opportunity to learn all the time, having just even 5 minutes of just silence and just in my own thoughts, and definitely my children. They're
Perfect.
number one.
Lovely. Okay, so the third and final question for you, Lee, and it's not really a question, it's more of a can you? And it just seemed only fitting because I am the laughter man, is can you laugh with me for 1 minute non-stop? Okay? Are you ready? I got my timer, mate. Yeah. So just laughing for non-stop, 1 minute. Here we go. Deep breath in. Congratulations, you passed that test.
Thanks very much for that. But I quite like the the Cann you, because that's a play on your surname as well, isn't it?
It is, mate.
I like that. That's very good. Very good. Yay!
Yay!
Honestly though, Pete, thanks very much for that. Thanks for the 3 questions. Thanks for the opportunity to be on your podcast and also be interviewed on mine as well. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you a little bit better. So thank you.
Perfect. And how do you feel right now?
Yeah, really good, actually. Really good. Really
Perfect,
good. Thank
mate.
you.
It's the
Yeah,
power of the
amazing.
laugh, mate. All right,
Yeah.
see you later, mate. All right,
Have fun.
cheers.
Cheers, Pete.
Bye.
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 Right, next up is Philippa Vernon-Fullbrook. Your full name. How are you, Pip?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. So we worked together in the past. I've got no idea what these questions are. I'm really looking forward to this. Who are you though, Pip?
So yeah, as you say, I've worked with you in the past. I've had that pleasure of watching you embarrass yourself on stage. That's always good. I am a mother of twins who are 2 years old, and I spend most of my time chatting to people to see if there's a way that I can help. That's where I get most of my energy from.
I love that. I love that because you've got it in order of priority as well. Mother of twins first. Yes, yeah, completely. Completely.
Well, to be fair, they've guided me a lot in the last 2 years and really helped me see things in a completely different way. So yeah, that's why they're always first.
Amazing. You always smile when you talk about them as well. It comes across. Definitely comes across. Right. So I've got no idea what these questions are, which makes this even more exciting. So shall we go with the first?
Yeah, go for it. So I've decided to keep it clean because I could have gone with some funny things. But if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, superpower. That's a great question. If I could have a superpower, somebody the other day said that they would love invisibility, but that's not for me. That one.
That's not for you, is it?
No, that's not for me because I need people. I need to be out the kind of in people's faces and stuff. So that's definitely not for me. I think that I would like mind reader.
Are you sure?
Are you trying to read my mind?
Might be.
So am I sure? Okay. Yeah. So the reason why that, right, is what we do. It's all about people, and it's all about influencing people. And I love to try to build rapport really early on and try to get inside people's heads a little bit. Having that superpower would allow that to happen a little bit quicker, which is a little bit manipulative. I get that. But also, there's a lot of people, there's some people that have like a masked smile. And you go, are you all right? And they go, yeah. But inside they're not. And I think I'd love to be able to understand when that's not truthful, when that masked smile is there, so that then I can actually help them. It's all right.
Just had a cup of tea delivery. Thank you, Mama.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it because that's real world, isn't it? That's what happens. Everybody needs to drink tea. I'm just disappointed there was no hobnobs with it. But yeah, so definitely mind reading for that reason because there's some people that say they're all right when they're not, and I want to try to help as many people as possible. And at the minute, I can only help people if they're asking for help. So that's the reason why I think that one. What would you have? Or why did you question me? Why? What did you think I was going to say?
Just because with mind reading, there are some risks with people, like you say, being congruent in a positive way, but there's also people who might be congruent in a negative way.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that isn't fair.
Yeah.
Because people, people judge quite quickly, so their initial judgment might be completely wrong, and then they kind of improve as they get to know you.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that they mean that. It's just at that time they think that. But I love your point about the mental health and the kind of, people saying I'm okay, but I think it was the Are You Okay Day in Australia the other day, and the suicide, the National Suicide Prevention Day, things like that. And it's it's okay to talk.
Yeah, completely. And,
so
and that would give you an avenue in to be able to talk about something a little bit quicker and easier. Yeah, completely. Go. Okay, good. So that's one question down. So I'm always a bit nervous whether I can actually answer the question. So that's the first one. What's number 2? And I only want to use that superpower for good. I don't want to use it for evil, by the way. Only for good. That superpower.
Isn't it Mel? Is it Mel Gibson? What Women Want? Is it? Have you seen that?
No.
Oh. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. So you'll notice the theme. So if you could compare yourself to an animal, what would it be and why?
So the first one that springs out would be a monkey. That's it.
Why would that be?
Yeah, so that comes out for a whole host of reasons. That animal has followed me for years. So I DJ dressed as a monkey for 18 months. My bouncy castle business was called Funky Monkey Inflatables, but I bought it as that, and then got the van up north. I did Nigel Risner's zoo animal quiz. I came out monkey. People say I like monkeying around and stuff. I could do it. I can do a monkey impression a little bit. This is the rehearsal, isn't it? This isn't like no, it's not. This is the recording. So
there's no Digby the dog moment on this, mate.
No, there's not. So I would definitely say monkey, because I think they are mischievous. They've got a bit of personality about it. I drove around Knowsley Safari Park the other about 3 weeks ago, and one of them started nibbling the windscreen washers and stuff and pulling the rubbers out, and then everyone just left it there like that. One of them got on top of the roof, and I don't know how would you say it. What would you say? How would you say what they did, Pip?
What were they doing?
They had a shit on the roof and left it there.
What car do you drive?
Oh no! So this was the missus's car. This one, not that makes any difference. Yeah, not that makes any difference. But yeah, so and I just think that so like they just do whatever they want. They're free spirits, aren't they? They have a bit of a laugh. They're a bit mischievous. So and I think I can be all of those things. So I guess just don't let me on your car roof. Yeah,
It's just so many points to that, isn't there?
Yeah.
How do you think? Just a follow-up question from that. How do you think you are linking to the two? How do you think you're perceived by people when you first meet them? Being a monkey and you wanting to get into their heads. How do those two mesh together to create the Lee Houghton that everyone meets and gets to know?
So I think at the start, I'm some people's worst nightmare. I honestly think at the start I can be. And I mean, if you speak to a business partner, Jason, I think I am his worst nightmare at times. Because everybody's different, aren't they? And they say as a coach and stuff, sometimes your coachee is not coach-coachee relationship. It's all right to not work at times. So you're not for everybody, and everybody is different. So I think I try to build rapport really quickly. I think I can change. I can tone the monkeying around down dependent upon the situation. But if some people saw me on stage first or presenting first, then I think that would turn a third of the room off. If they then found out that they had an opportunity to work for me, so then I've got to work harder to build credibility with them rather than just be that idiot that's told a few jokes or that's whipped a crowd into a friend. Do you know what I mean? That type of thing. So I think I've got to work harder on the credibility thing pretty quick with those people. But with other people, you can get invited to a pub really quick as well. People open up and start sharing stuff. So I think it depends on the individual. But yeah, some people I am the worst nightmare, and I have got to work doubly hard to get them on side, because I can sense that right from the off. And it can be quite uneasy at times, but I am who I am, and I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna change that too much.
No, continue the song.
Yeah,
no, you started.
I stopped then, but then I thought that I've nearly sang, and I did a monkey impression in the same 3 questions. So I think the first interaction with somebody, if that's where they see me, then I've got to work a lot harder with somebody afterwards, a particular type of person. So
yeah, but I guess the point that you come back to is, and this is the most important point, is you're always yourself.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing, isn't it?
Completely. As I say to my kids every day, I want them to be happy, be themselves, and always do the best. So, and that's what I try to live. I've not always tried to live those 3 things, but I am now trying to live those 3 things more than ever before.
Good for you.
Thank you. Do you have any more questions?
I do. I have a bonus question, but this one's a tough one.
Yeah.
And I say tough because I've read this quite a few times, and I still don't know how I would do it. So it'd be tough for me. I'm not saying it might not be tough for you, but
oh wow,
okay.
That's one hell of a build-up.
I know. Yeah, I hope it lives up to it. So describe the color red to someone who is blind.
Oh wow. So the way that springs to mind, I love that question, because I think in everything we do, we need to describe something to people to get them to understand its meaning and understand what it is. And so that question is a genius question, because I think it depends upon the recipient of the message. Right, let me explain a little bit further. So instantly in my mind, when I'm given the word red, I've linked anger, I've linked like words like, angry words, angry feeling, like that. So I would say think of those things. Think of being angry. Think of the feelings that you're getting with that, and then I don't want to use the words imagine you could see, but I would then say in your mind you'll have images, or you'll have things that are there. I would say make them all the same, and describe that to me. Describe what they can visualize or depict or talk about. And then I would say, okay, so describe something that's opposite of that. And I would go, okay, that's green. And I would probably get into a conversation like that, but linking it to feelings and linking it to, so, I mean, disappointedly, I'm linking it to negative things, but that's just because of the bias. That's just because of the stop, so the traffic light. Because of if a metric is a particular that color, then you act upon it and stuff. So in our world, in our visual world that we can see, it's negatively, apart from Liverpool, obviously, but it's negatively, it's got negative connotations. It's got negative references to it. So I would probably go down that route, go for a feelings route, and then because I've never spoken to anybody that's visually impaired of that to that level of blindness. So I don't know what they can picture or not.
Yes.
But so I'll do it on a visual, on a feeling thing. But oh no, that's a great question. So when I hit the end on this call, I'm going to be thinking about that question, because I love that question, because it's all about them, isn't it, ultimately? And that's not what we don't make everything about the recipients, but in that instance, it is purely about the recipients.
It has to be, doesn't it? Because there's no other way, and you've got to think about the way that they think and interpret things, and then act upon it.
Yeah.
You know, if they've always been visually impaired to the to the point that they're blind, they're not going to see see things in their imagination the same way we are. So it's it's quite interesting. Definitely.
It is. No, it's a really good question, and I'm going to send a message after this, actually, to see. I don't know who I'm going to send a message to, but I'm going to try to find and answer that question. But no, I think that's a really good question. That's a brilliant workshop question at the start of a workshop. So somebody that can't do something, so get them to visualize or hear or smell or describe the taste of this to somebody that that has never tasted it, or somebody that's never heard it, or somebody that's never felt it. Or I think that's an amazing start of workshop question to get people to consider their thoughts. It's not about them, it's about the recipient of the message. I love that.
Good. I knew you would.
Yeah, no, thank you for that.
Hours of research went into those three, you know that.
Did they? Yeah. So, but I think that says a lot about you as a person, Pip.
In what way?
Just because you're meticulous in your planning and very structured. That's So I can imagine. So when I can imagine that I would also be at a point in time your worst nightmare at times as well, because of how I can be. So if we were working together, and I was just alpha monkey 100%.
I think my sense of humour would take over, and I would find it hard to be in a work environment and professional, because I wouldn't be able to stop laughing. Yeah. So if I'm in full professional mode, I probably would be like, okay, come on, funky monkey, you probably need to get on with something productive now. But the kind of, when the pressure's not on, I find you hilarious. But
no, it's very kind of, and we'll leave that there, actually, on that positive. So no, thank you very much, Pip. It's been an absolute pleasure to be asked those questions. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Can I just say?
Oh yeah.
It's an honour for you to ask me to ask you those questions and interview you on your 100th episode. And I just want to say congratulations for reaching this far. You know, me and Jason had a chat. We didn't think you'd make it, but we're really pleased that you did.
Cheers, Pip. Reasons why I do everything I do. So hello there, Jack, and hello there, Indy.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
How are you?
Really good, thank you.
Good. It's okay.
A few people have been asking me some questions, and I thought it'd be really good if you two could ask me some questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. How does your eyes work?
How do your eyes work?
Yes.
So your eyes, they work. So I'm not really entirely sure how your eyes work, but it's the link to your brain. So what happens is your eyes, they see all sorts of pictures and colours and things in front of you, yeah? And then that signal then gets to your brain, and your brain then decides what is and computes it. What do you think about
that? Good. And how does your mouth open?
How does your mouth open? You two have absolutely no issues with your mouth opening, does it? Do you? No. So I think your mouth opens exactly the same as everything else with with your head deciding that you want to open your mouth, exactly like you're doing now, Jack. Your mouth keeps opening because your head is deciding that you want to open it. And
you're talking. That's
yeah,
why.
and you're talking. Yeah. India, do you have any questions?
Yeah. How does the eyebrows work?
How do your eyebrows work? No, that is an amazing question. I'm not sure whether eyebrows do work, do they? What do eyebrows?
Yeah,
what do eyebrows?
because how can you put them down and up?
Like that? Yeah. So I think again that's your head deciding that your eyebrows need to go up and down. What do you two want to be when you grow up?
Footballer, Fortnite streamer. Well, that's kind of a YouTuber, but I stream every day. Well, do YouTube every day. I want to a wrestler, even if I got badly hurt, maybe bleeding.
And what do you want?
What did you say? To be a kid.
You want to be a kid. I think those both of those things are great answers. And just before we end the call, what do you know in the morning or every single day we say 3 things, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it starts with be happy. What does it say? So let's do it together.
Be happy. Be yourself, and always do your best.
Yeah, beautiful, amazing. Okay, no, fantastic. Thank you very much, you two.
You're welcome.
What are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Maybe watch some YouTube.
Maybe watch some YouTube. And India, what about you?
I'm going horse riding.
Oh,
horse riding.
Amazing. Right, well, both of you have an amazing day. Love you loads, and I'll speak to you in a minute.
Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Wow. Firstly, thank you very much to all the people that asked me questions. This episode would not be possible without you. And then secondly, the people that listen to the podcast, thank you so much. If you're still listening at this point, maybe after all the time that this episode has taken. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, really, because without people listening, without people that I have the opportunity to work with, without clients, without customers, without friends, and without colleagues, this podcast would not be possible. Like I said in episode 98, like I said in episode 99, episode 99 was my favourite podcast. This episode 100 is now my favourite podcast because it's a recollection of the journey that I've been on as an individual. Every week, the conversations I have, the questions I ask, the lessons that I share are all based on my own personal learning journey. I think that's such an important lesson for anybody, really. If you are where you are because of the steps that you've put in before. So this podcast is a personal recollection of all of my lessons over the last 2 years, which have been possible through the people I work with, through colleagues, through friends, through family, through clients, through customers, and anybody that I have a conversation with. The most important lesson for me, based on Chrissy's 3 lessons. So Chrissy's 3 lessons, which we spoke about right at the start of the podcast, about always being yourself, make good friends, and time being limited. This podcast is an output because I recognise that time is limited and I needed to act. So I got this podcast out. And now 100 episodes later, I'm still doing it. This podcast is possible because of the connections that I've made and the friends that I've made along the way, because it's with all of the conversations that I've had that sparked content, created content, and also led to some amazing conversations that I've had, even included in this podcast with the colleagues and the friends and the family that I speak to in this episode as well. And I think one of the most pleasing bits of feedback that I get is that people say that I am myself in all situations. And that's something that I'm continuously working with. And I want to continue to strive to be myself and be the best version of myself as often as possible. So I try to live and breathe Chrissy's 3 lessons as much as I possibly can. They are works in progress and I am trying, but it's through this podcast that I am enabling myself to learn continuously, so I can always be myself. I can make more good friends, connections, clients, customers, basically make more stronger relationships. And I think it's important to act now and just keep going, keep moving forward. So that's it. That's the 100th episode over with. I hope you enjoyed listening to it or watching it as much as I enjoyed making it and being challenged with those questions. Like I said, there were some, like I said in the intro, there were some questions that were asked a couple of times, but my thought process had changed in between some being asked the questions because I thought about it the first time. I didn't want to see the questions beforehand, and it was for that reason. I wanted to see what I was like under pressure and exactly what would be said out of this head and this mouth of mine. So thank you very much for your support. If there's anything I can do for you at any point in time, and please do let me know. You know how to contact me. It's either via LinkedIn or via lee@getknowledge.co.uk. Have an amazing rest of your week, and thank you so much again for joining me on this exciting journey to 100 podcasts. Take care.